The first rain of autumn has come. The Pacific willows are turning gold, and the rusty leaves of the oaks have begun to fall. Welcome to the Dancing Druid. I am Root, and today I'm going to talk about how and why I do my work in eco-forestry. Every day the logging trucks race up and down the highway by my farm, from the early hours of the morning to late at night, carrying the spoils of timber plantations to the lumber mills. Trying to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible. Every step of the process, from the planting of the trees to the mechanized harvest to the exporting of lumber and plywood overseas, is designed for maximum timber industry profits. This is great for shareholder value, but terrible for the health of the land. With every clear cut, biodiversity is reduced, erosion increases, and the fertility of the land is depleted as nutrients are carried away in the bodies of the trees, and nothing is put back. Nothing, that is, besides millions of clones. Genetically identical Douglas fir clones are planted 200, or more commonly 400 trees per acre. To pave the way for these clones to dominate the landscape, clear cuts are commonly sprayed with herbicides by plane or helicopter. The Oregon Department of Forestry says that herbicides are commonly used for site preparation before tree planting and sometimes after tree planting to control competing vegetation. Effectively, this creates a monocrop landscape. And as the trees grow into a thicket, any of the understory species that didn't die from sunshock or poison is starved of light. And it creates an ecological desert beneath the tight, dense canopy. This also has the effect of reducing the crown to stem ratio, meaning that the trees grow tall and spindly because they're reaching up for the dwindling light and they have no space to spread out their branches. These make weak trees that are more susceptible to being knocked down by windstorms. But more importantly, the lower branches, which die from lack of light, become dry fuel ladders which a low-burning fire can use to climb up into the canopy. This creates a chain reaction that intensifies the fire so that it sweeps across the land with frightening speed. Biodiversity does not bring the timber industry profits, so they have no incentive to protect it. These multi-billion-dollar corporations spend lavishly on PR campaigns to promote themselves as responsible stewards of the land, and they send their lobbyists to bribe the government to remove environmental protections. I think that this is a failure of the overall systems design of our civilization, more than it is a moral failing of the individuals involved, especially those who do the hard work of cutting down the trees and hauling them away. These people need to earn money to survive in this society, and it is a part of the sad legacy of abuse and deception by systems of greed. When the Pacific Northwest was colonized, some of the only work available to the dispossessed indigenous people was in the logging industry. Forced onto reservations and then left to fend for themselves, they had to earn money to feed their families. Due to racism, most white people would not hire them for anything but migrant farm work. Now, I can only imagine the heartbreak those people may have felt cutting down the ancient forests of the very land that was stolen from them, just so that they could be paid far less than what any white person was paid to do the same work. Today, only a tiny sliver of unspoiled forests remain, while millions upon millions of acres are managed like a ubiquitous timber factory. Now, whatever your political leanings may be, I hope that we can all agree that the value of functioning ecosystems is great. Every year we have less and less. If current trends continue, if conservation is not given more priority, then ecological collapse is certain. Future generations, perhaps even your own children, will live in an impoverished land that may never recover. Every scrap of healthy forest matters. For my part, I am working to use selective thinning at Havenroot, which spans 219 acres. It's a drop in the bucket, compared to how many tree plantations need thinning in the greater area, but every little bit helps. It is dangerous work, for the trees can get caught against other trees in the thicket, creating unstable and unpredictable situations. As I open up the canopy so light can come in, the struggling understory can begin to recover. Vine maples, hazelnut, huckleberry, Oregon grape, salal all provide food for animals, which in turn help generate a resilient ecosystem. The remaining trees grow stronger, form thicker bark, which helps protect them from fire. And the understory of water-filled perennials offers more resistance against a fire getting started in the first place. This was demonstrated when the camp's tool barn burned down. The intense heat warped steel and caused nearby structures to combust into flames, but the branches of the vine maples that surrounded the building are still green. The rest of the understory will bounce back in the spring from the root network. I use the trees to harvest firewood, both for myself and for clients of Havenroot. We also use the trees for construction projects, and the branches are burned in barrels for biochar. Trees that I cut that we don't need are allowed to rot, building soil and providing habitat, and I also use them to build check dams to raise the water table, making the land more resistant to drought. It must be said that this land has been shaped by drought and fire since time immemorial. The native tribes worked with this natural pattern, used fire, and gardened a landscape of oak savannas in the valleys and fire-resistant forests in the mountains. It is my hope that we can find a renewed balance that can withstand climate change. Healthy ecosystems make healthy communities. Thank you for watching. And until we meet again, you have all of my very best wishes for your peace and health.